Pastor Shay coming at you from the office again. Gray space in my space. So, you know what we've been talking about. We've been talking about forgiveness. We've been talking about it all month. We had 5 Sundays together. How crazy is it? Today is our last day that we're talking about it. So sad, but I know we've learned so many great things from it. So, forgiveness. Sometimes maybe our brothers, our sisters, maybe our cousins, they can do things that make us so riled up and so mad, and forgiving them really isn't that easy. But sometimes we need to let it go. Not like the song. I know you started singing it. I know you did. But we're going to have a challenge today. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have Pastor Scott and Pastor Cody, and they're going to release some hot air. 'Cause sometimes when you get mad, you get all that hot air in, right? And you just need to let it go. So with you guys at home, you can go grab a balloon. I'm going to tell you to pause. You can run and go grab a balloon and join us. So what's going to happen is Pastor Scott is going to verse Pastor Cody. They're going to try and see who can blow up the balloon the fastest in 5 seconds. And then they're going to see who can go farther. And then whoever wins, they're the winner. So that's pretty cool. All right. Now, you're going to pause and you're going to join us in this balloon extravaganza. Ready, set, pause.
Pretty close. Oh, I think his is bigger. Oh, Cody's went way farther than mine.
That was wild. Man, I really thought that Pastor Scott was going to win. Did you guys beat Pastor Scott? Probably. Man, that was so fun. Okay, we're going to get into more about our big topic on forgiveness. I know you guys have been hearing about it all month, but it's so important for us to know about, right? So, we're talking about letting it go, forgiving others, letting go of that hot air, but we're going to get into our story. Okay, so I want you to raise your hand if you know what a hall monitor is, or what a safety patrol person is. They're people that go in the hallways and they reinforce the rules. They want to make sure that people are following the rules. And if someone isn't following the rules, they will remind them or they'll tell a teacher. So, there's these people in Jesus' time that were big rule people. Like, they were all about the rules. And I want to talk to you guys about it. They were in the Bible. But they had way more power than our hall monitors do and people who keep this. Like, they were these powerful dudes. They kept the law. These guys were called the Pharisees. Can you say that with me? The Pharisees. That's right. All right, what were they called? Pharisees. You're so smart. So basically, the Pharisees were all about rules. That's all they really talked about. That's all they thought about. Oh my goodness. Ooh. So obviously, I need my handy dandy ruler hat because rule enforcers, right? So they were always watching to see who was following the rules and who wasn't. The rules were a very big deal to the Pharisees. The Pharisees weren't just rule followers, they were rule enforcers. They wanted to make sure everyone was following the rules just like they were. So, one day, Jesus, which we can find the story in the Bible. If you got your Bible, take it out. One day, Jesus was talking to a crowd. There was a crowd around him. And it's in John 8, 1 to 11 that this is found. If you gotta find it, feel free to flip through, find John 8, 1 to 11. All right, so this is what this might have felt like for Jesus. Jesus was teaching the crowd when all of a sudden the rule enforcers, the Pharisees, the who? The Pharisees, you got that. They brought this woman who'd been caught doing something pretty bad. This woman had seriously messed up. Have you guys ever messed up before? Yeah, she had messed up really bad. And these rule enforcers were ready to call her out. They were ready to expose the bad things she had done. And more importantly, they wanted to see what Jesus was going to do. In fact, what she had done was so bad that the rules said that she deserved to die. How horrible is that? The Pharisees and maybe even the people in the crowd were pointing fingers at her. They were straight up pointing fingers at her. Like, I feel like it looked at something like this. Like, they pointed a finger at her and they were like, hey, you did something so bad and you deserve to die because of it. Like, how horrible. They look at her and they said to Jesus, they said, look at her. Look what she has done. She deserves to be punished. So, can everyone point? I need everyone to point. They're pointing fingers. Just like the crowd, they were accusing the woman who had messed up. Can you point? Point at me. I'm pointing at you with all my handy-dandy pointer finger. Great pointing. In the crowd, the finger pointers, Jesus actually does something amazing. All these people were pointing fingers. He totally turns things around on these rule enforcers as if to say, fine, you want to accuse and punish her? You can do that, but only if you never, ever have done something wrong yourself. You could only punish her if you had never done a wrong thing. So, you could punish her if you had never stolen before. If you've never stolen anything, keep pointing. I want you to keep your pointer fingers up, okay? If you've never stolen anything before. If you've raided your brother's candy stash or borrowed something without asking, that's stealing. Okay. Let's keep our pointer fingers up. Okay. You can punish her if you've never cheated. How about cheating? It's not just talking about cheating on a test. Maybe you've cheated in a game at recess or at a round of Uno. If you've never cheated before, keep pointing. Okay. How about lying? Okay, there should be a lot of fingers going down on this one. Maybe you lied about finishing your homework, or maybe sneaking a piece of candy, or about not hitting your little brother, or I'll be down in 5 minutes. That's a lie. I'm putting my finger down. So, how about you can keep accusing her if you've never talked back to your parents before. All right, there should be more. My fingers are definitely down. I've done that. More hands down for sure. I would guess that some of the points you all have talked back, and maybe you've rolled your eyes. Whew. All right, so last one. If you've never been unkind before. How about if you've ever been mean to someone else? At this point, everyone's hand should be down, especially if you have a brother or sister. And guess what? The same thing happened in the crowd that day. No one in the crowd could say that they had never ever done something wrong. They all knew that they had sinned many times, just like the woman they were accusing. Every accuser, every person in the crowd backed away until only Jesus and the woman were left. Then Jesus looked at the woman who had messed up super bad and said, "Where is everyone? Isn't there anyone left to accuse you?" The woman looked around and saw that everyone had gone, and Jesus said, "I'm not going to accuse you either. You can go, but don't sin anymore. Don't do wrong anymore." In other words, Jesus was telling her, "I forgive you, but stop doing what you know is wrong." Jesus forgave the woman. You see, Jesus knew the woman was no different than the people in the crowd or the group of rule-enforcing Pharisees. And Jesus knew that we all need to be forgiven. Can you say that with me? We all need to be forgiven. The woman needed to be forgiven, and the Pharisees needed to be forgiven. In fact, everyone needs to be forgiven. Jesus wanted to show everyone that day we all need forgiveness. So, what does this story mean for us? Take another look at these signs that I have. Steals, cheats, lies, talks back, unkind. We've all messed up. Everyone has probably done at least one of those things. And I know I have. And just like the woman in the story, she was forgiven. How crazy is that? All these things that we have done wrong, and we are forgiven for them. So, when we've taken something that doesn't belong to us, that's stealing, right? Did you know that we are forgiven for that? When we've cheated to get to a win or to get a better grade, when we cheat, we can also be forgiven, given a clean white slate. When we've not been honest, when we lie, we can ask for forgiveness and we will be forgiven. When we've talked back or rolled our eyes, we can also be forgiven. Maybe we've been unkind to someone. Guess what? What can we be? We can be forgiven. That's right. Jesus offers forgiveness to everyone. We all need to be forgiven. Instead of pointing to others who have messed up, just like the Pharisees did, those big pointer fingers, we need to follow the example of Jesus and forgive. We need to remember that we mess up too. I mess up. I know everyone in the world messes up because we're human. We also need forgiveness. So let's stop and remember that we all need to be forgiven. Now, to help us remember that, we have our important verse. Do you remember where it's from? I'm going to take off my ruler hat because we're switching it up. All right. So, do you remember our super important verse? It's from Colossians 3:13. You got that right. Okay, so this helps us remember to be forgiven. Now, I don't know if you remember last week, but we did a bit of a fun game where we rolled the dice, and that's how we figured out how to do our verse, right? Okay, we're going to roll it. Now, if it lands on 1, it's tongue out. If it lands on 2, it's stretched cheeks. Ooh. If it lands on 3, we're doing it upside down. That'll be fun. If it's number 4, we're doing it like we're underwater. If it's number 5, we're doing it like we're squishing grapes. And if it lands on number 6, we're doing it without moving our tongues. Are you ready? What do you think it'll land on? Ready? 1. Okay, we got 1 last time, so I'm going to roll it one more time and see what we got. 2. Okay, stretch cheeks. Are you ready? Our verse is, bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord has forgave you. Are you ready to stretch your cheeks with me? All right, let's go. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord has forgave you. Colossians 3:13. Whew, that hurt a little bit. All right, ready for this is our second one today. 5. Like we're squishing grapes. Okay, are you ready? Ready to squish grapes with me? Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord has forgave you. All right, I think we made some really good grape juice there. And that's from Colossians 3:13. You got that right. Okay, now let's talk about our story a bit. Let's get into our questions and let's see what we can learn more about this story. Okay, so how do you think the woman in our story felt when everyone was talking about what she did wrong? Wow. I feel she felt really bad. Maybe she felt guilty. Maybe she felt sad and alone because everyone was pointing fingers at her, right? Pointing those big fingers at her. Jesus stepped in and not only defended her, but he forgave her too. How do you think that made her feel? Maybe you've had someone stand up to a bully for you before, or maybe you had someone speak for you and be kind to you. How did that make you feel? I bet she felt safe. I bet she felt loved in that moment, and I really hope she felt forgiven because Jesus was standing up for her. So, we're going to play a little game of true or false. So I have my true or false cards here. Okay. Are you ready? I'm going to give you a statement, and you're going to point at the screen. Do you think it's true, or do you think it's false? Ready? And then I'll tell you which one it is. The rule enforcers that were in the crowd Jesus was talking to were called the Pharisees. Is that true or false? It's false. What were they called? They were called the Pharisees. That's right. Okay, let's go. The woman they brought to Jesus had done something bad. Is that true or false? That's true. Good job. Okay. Jesus agreed with everything the Pharisees said. True or false? What do you think? False. He did not agree with them pointing their fingers at her and accusing her when they had also done things wrong. All right, 2 more. Jesus said they could only point their fingers at her if they had never done anything wrong. Is it true or is it false? Show me your big pointer fingers. What do you think? It was true. That's right. Okay, last one. Jesus forgave the woman because we all need to be forgiven. Is that true or is that false? That's true, right? It's so true. So this week, don't point at others or talk about other people and what they've done. Remember that we all need to be forgiven and that we can give forgiveness to people everywhere. So, when we see someone doing something wrong, it's easy to point it out or we want to get them in trouble. Instead of pointing it out, whenever we see someone doing something wrong, point your thumbs back at your own heart and remember, we all need to be forgiven. See if you can catch yourself this week before you point out someone else's mess. Because remember, we all need to be forgiven. That's right. Okay, so I have a fun little activity that we could do. And I don't know if you've noticed, but it's been really nice out lately. Like, things are starting to melt. I mean, today it was -6, which was sad. But otherwise, the snow is melting. And I don't know about you, but I've been taking a lot of walks lately. So, today, if you go on a walk, maybe ask your parents to go on a walk with you and see if you can find a nice little small rock or a pebble or something. Take it home, wash it nice and clean, and then you know what you could do? This is what I'm going to do, and I'll post mine on our Instagram page. But we can paint them, make them really pretty, and then write the word forgiveness on it. And put it somewhere in maybe your bedroom or maybe in your bathroom, so you are reminded daily that we are all forgiven because God has forgiven us. Awesome. I'm so happy that we got this time to spend together. I hope that you remember it's so important to forgive others. Let me pray for you guys before we leave and know that you were loved and that we miss you so much. So let's pray together. We're focusing on God, so we're going to put our hands together and we're going to close our eyes. Lord God, I thank you so much for today. I thank you that you have given us forgiveness. Thank you that you've given us Jesus, that he has shown us how to forgive others. Lord, I pray that you give us patience and confidence with those that we get to be around. And Lord, will you just bring us peace? Thank you for your forgiveness. And thank you that we are able to forgive others. In your holy mighty name, everyone said, amen. That's right. Awesome. Well, guys, I'm so excited to meet with you next week, and we'll be talking more about our super fun new theme for the month. If you have any ideas what you think it might be, let me know. Okay, so if you do your forgiveness rock, feel free to get your parents to DM me a picture on our Instagram page or on our Facebook page, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!